Hi there, my name is Macy Jacob, and you're watching Off the Record with Macy and Elle. Today, we're in Columbus, Ohio at Natalie's Grandview, where we're chatting with folk rock artist Amelia Day.
Hello.
Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you for having me. This is so cool and professional. I'm like,
Hey.
this is awesome.
So for someone that's just getting to know you, how would you describe yourself as an artist?
Oh my goodness. I would say generally my music is rooted in folk storytelling. That's what I grew up listening to, a lot of like Simon and Garfunkel and Creedence Clearwater Revival, all that kind of stuff. But I have since expanded into a lot more rock influenced music, a lot of soul. I studied jazz a bit in college. And so all of those have found influence in my sound as well. But it's very, very storytelling based. I care a lot about the lyrics and put a lot of intention into the lyrics of each song.
That's so awesome. Who do you think your fan base is, and who do you think should be listening to your music?
Oh, my fan base is like kind of all over the place, depending on what location / which songs, honestly.
Yeah.
I have like, I'd say probably the biggest face of my fan base is just younger queer people, especially queer sapphics, which unsurprising because honestly, my fan base like really does reflect me in a lot of ways. But at the same time, I also have a huge block of like 50s to 70s, like or 45 to 70s, like dads, and some moms as well. But like the dads love, which honestly, that's like kind of one of the biggest compliments because they will say if they don't like something.
So true.
But if they're in on something, they're all in, and like they honestly listen to the same music that I listen to. So to get their approval, I shouldn't value it as much as I do maybe, but
no, I think
but
it's valid.
I love it. I love them.
So maybe some dads in the audience tonight.
There might be some dads in the audience, and I'm happy to have them.
I cannot wait to see.
Well, I'll do a little 360 before the show.
So you're on tour right now with Miki Fiki. It's called the People Pleaser Tour.
Yes.
How's the tour going, and also how do you feel about going on this tour? Have you been to the Midwest before on tour?
I have not on tour before. I have as a human. My dad's side of the family is actually from Ohio.
Oh, interesting.
From like Cleveland area. They're from Barberton, so
awesome.
Very small, specific town, factory town. So I've actually been to Ohio quite a bit growing up, and it feels very like home to me a little bit. Not as much obviously as Washington State. But as far as touring, yeah, this is my first time playing in most of these cities. Honestly, except for just Nashville. All of these are my first time, which has been amazing to see the turnout that has come for me specifically, even on my first run. Genuinely, it's been so fun. Like it's been very affirming to just realize how much I enjoy this because hopefully I'll be doing it a lot. It's a big part of the job. And I love it. I love it. And I knew I'd love the shows, but all the other parts, like spending that much time around the band, like all the, random things that happen with travel, sleeping on the ground sometimes or sleeping on air mattresses all clustered together. Like I love the whole part of it. So it's been really fun, honestly.
I'm so glad to hear that.
Thank you.
So how does it feel going from playing the local farmers market to now having not one but 2 tours in the last year?
It's so surreal. Like I don't think, especially since it's been such a recent thing, but I love it. Especially, like I'm sure you've seen those videos of Chapel when she was playing at like farmers markets and city concerts and stuff. It's been really cool to see those and to have had, like that's exactly how I started. I was playing for free at farmers markets, like, and just getting like maybe $40 in tips, and I was like thrilled,
Right.
And it was a big part of just working through my stage fright, getting more comfortable performing, learning what draws people in because nobody's obligated to listen to you.
True.
But now to have people just locked in but still be using those same kind of techniques. It's just like the coolest thing in the world. I don't know if I'll ever wrap my head around it. I try to, because it's such a profoundly cool thing that some people, like, I am their favorite artist. That's insane to me.
Yeah.
That's insane to me, because I wrote these songs in my dorm room, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just been very quick, and I think because it is still gradual, like, you take it day by day, and it's like, kind of again, I'm like, yeah, I'm on tour, like, totally. But then when I really, like, actually am like,
Right.
oh my God, I'm on tour, you know?
Right.
It's a whole different, I try to hold the two at once, like, 'cause
Yeah.
it's kind of necessary to keep going on the day by day and taking things moment by moment, but also to be like, what the hell, this is the coolest thing in the world.
I love that.
So yeah, it's just mind-boggling. I think Boston's show might have been the one that was like the most kind of revealing of that kind of feeling, because it was sold out. I'd never played in Boston before.
That's
like,
so
That's
awesome.
crazy. We added a second show, and that was like pretty full too in the room.
Wow.
So I feel very, very grateful.
So like you said, it hasn't been long since you were playing at those local farmers markets. What do you contribute to this sort of steady but quick rise for you?
I think there's a decent part of it that is luck. Like, it's,
Yeah.
I do think, however, if you are making art that is super intentional, super thorough, that touches people, and you're doing all the daily things, something lucky is bound to happen. I do believe it's earned in a way, but at the same time, like, you don't know when that's gonna happen. I feel so incredibly lucky that it happened as early as it did, that I am like recently graduated and I'm able to go on tour, you know? But I do think probably it's due to just, I am very committed to like all the sides of it. I think you have to be either somewhat business-minded yourself or collaborate with somebody business-minded as an independent artist, because it's the standard of like discovering like this cool new talent or this voice like in a random bar, like that kind of thing doesn't happen as much anymore.
Right.
You kind of have to build your own career before the record label's interested, before the agencies are interested, rather than the other way around, where they'll find you and then build your career, which is amazing because it makes things both way more accessible for everybody. But then at the same time, it's really hard. You have to do all the things that a label team would do, which is both a fun challenge sometimes, but also it does take a lot of time away from the actual art of the thing and can kind of ruin that for some people or take away from it. It's hard to hold both at the same time.
Yeah. A lot of other independent musicians that we've talked to say that it's pretty difficult to be your own social media manager, your own marketing agent, your own touring agent. Do you relate to that?
Oh my God, yeah. It's especially the social media side of things, because that really is most of the job right now.
Yeah.
Like it is where I spend most of my time.
You do a great job at it.
Thank you. I appreciate hearing that, because I really put a lot of time into it.
I bet you do.
I'd probably
it's
say
not
like,
easy.
70% of it is literally like planning, marketing, graphics. I love like the graphics and visual side of things.
That's
and
awesome.
The creative aspects of it, where I get to come up with an interesting TikTok idea and then kind of bring that to fruition. I do enjoy that to an extent. I don't enjoy the need to be almost performing 24/7. I wish there was more room for like just being able to take that space when needed, but it is such a competitive thing, and when you're like, I'm fully independent in all the ways right now, and so it's like, if I don't keep this running, no one is. So it's that definitely is a challenge.
Yeah, you're totally like having to sell yourself, and like people love your personality though, and I think that's I think that's why you have a lot of this like awesome following. You have this like niche.
Makes me so happy. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's what people love about you.
Oh my God, that means the world, because I really do, like, it's so hard to be authentic on social media.
Yeah.
When you are, at the same time, the goal is for people to listen to your music. So you are promoting yourself, which in essence feels very like, foreign to me. I don't like being like, hey, like check out my stuff. So I try to find ways to make it as genuine and like tied to my personality as possible, instead of just like, I'm the, like, you know, following all the kind of TikTok, like, you need to know me and I'm the biggest star. And like, that's just not me. And I think it's cool that people have been drawn to me trying to balance that as best as I can.
Yeah, I think you do a really great job, so keep doing what you're doing.
That's like probably the most important thing to me with my music and stuff is, both that and promotion, but also just in my music, like trying not to hold back, and also just releasing the songs that I like the most, regardless of, I mean, like I just released The Songwriter, which is an almost 5-minute song about Joni Mitchell. Like, that's not very commercial. Like, is that the smartest marketing decision? Like, no, and that's not the point. And I think it's cool that people are drawn to that kind of, like, fuck you to to just doing the most viral thing.
Yeah, from the mainstream, like being unique.
Mainstream media.
Yeah, we're not like other girls.
Not like other girls. But no, thank you.
Yeah, for sure. So you said your latest song, The Songwriter, was an ode to Joni Mitchell.
Yes.
What about her and also other artists inspire your music?
Oh my gosh. Honestly, a big part of it is kind of what I was just talking about with the whole, like, just putting out the stuff that you are most passionate about.
Yeah.
Even if it is not what people are asking for or expecting. Like, she would regularly get into arguments with her label administrators over like what to write. Even they would want to have control over that. And the song like "Turn Me On, I'm a Radio," which is a great song. She wrote like for them basically to be like, all right, here's your pop hit.
Right.
Cool.
Now I'm gonna go.
And then the rest of the album is gonna be my shit.
I love that.
And then she like, at honestly one of the biggest peaks of her career, decided like, I'm gonna release an album with Charles Mingus and just release an entirely like weird experimental eclectic jazz album.
Yeah.
Even though no one is looking
for that
from me necessarily. But I love him as an artist, and he asked to collaborate with me, and that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
And as much as like that album may not have been as much of a success, like that ethic and that coming through her music and her honesty of just putting things on the page, of just being herself in interviews and not trying to like pander to her audience, is super respectable. I think it's super cool. So that is a big way she's inspiration, and just her intentionality with her lyrics. Like, she is a poet first and foremost, and I love words so much. I was an English major at one point. Like, as a kid, I wanted to be an author. That was like one of my things that people asked me. I was like, I want to be a writer in some form. And
that's so cool.
So words are, and very much, hopefully people can tell in my songs, like, words are a huge priority for me. And as far as other artists that are big inspirations, I love Madison Cunningham, if you know her.
No, I don't.
Brilliant. She honestly, like, she is so underrated, it's upsetting. She's probably like my favorite like current artist who isn't more of like a legacy older artist. One who's like really making music in the present.
I'll look into her.
Yeah, she's great. She's kind of in the folk rock space, and it's one of those, I love listening to artists that I just genuinely, I don't know how you wrote this. Like, it's so good, and I could never write this. This is so entirely you, and you're so brilliant. Like, Fiona Apple is another one. I've listened to a good bit. A lot of like 90s artists recently, like Sheryl Crow. Some of her, like, if you really look at the verse lyrics of "If It Makes You Happy," it's so weird. It's so weird, so specific, but it absolutely evokes this perfect scene for the chorus, which is this very direct, like, cry to this person. It's just super cool. Lots of 90s lately has been big inspiration, which hopefully hopefully will be kind of coming through in some of the new music coming out this year.
Yeah. So speaking of new music.
What? I wouldn't want to talk about that.
You just announced a new single called Mama.
Yes.
What can you tell us about the single, and also what can you tell us about some other upcoming releases?
I've been thinking a lot about just as I've transitioned from girlhood to womanhood and been trying to really see myself as like an adult. I am an adult for the first time. There are lots of things that I've noticed both in myself and in my peers, and things that I experience or that my straight friends experience that are very different from me. And so this song in particular is focusing very much on heteronormativity, in the sense of we culturally hold mothers up to this insanely high standard. And I mean, in art, poetry, novels, there's always this kind of tied archetype of like purity, white, goodness, almost like angel associations even with mothers. But then if a mom makes a mistake or is selfish or does something that is not necessarily benefiting her kids entirely, she's then demonized. And you see this all the time, even in mythology, like the trope of like the female monster, like Medusa. Most of the most fearsome monsters in mythology are women.
Yeah.
And women who usually have become this monster through being bad women, through independence, through, you know, just kind of pushing away expectations and not being tied to men. And not saying some of the stuff they did was like genuinely terrible.
Wow.
But it's this whole idea of like you can either be perfect or you can be like devilish, and there's no room for like an actual human person in between. And the title of mother almost takes over the actual person who they are, rather than like viewing like a mom as like Cindy or whoever she may be.
Yeah. Right.
So that's kind of the focus of this song, and the whole, it's part of a trilogy essentially called the Clementine trilogy, each of which is taking kind of an angle on that transition from girlhood to womanhood, how a lot of the characteristics that are prized in girlhood are then flipped into negatives as a woman. And so, yeah, just been thinking about that a lot.
Wow,
And I'm really excited about this song. It's definitely, I think, pretty indicative of where a lot of my sound has been heading towards more of a rock direction lately. So
it sounds like a beautiful concept. I can't wait to hear it.
Thank you.
When can you tell us when we might be able to hear that?
April 11th.
And what about your releases after this upcoming single?
Yes, so we'll have Clementine as the Clementine trilogy. That'll be probably in June. But then after that, I'll just say 2024 was the hardest year of my life personally.
Yeah.
And I have learned a lot of really good lessons taking forward, have learned things that have made me maybe less naive and less trusting, but I think for the better. I think I've had a shift in my perspective that is healthy. And there's a lot of experience that I've had that have been at first kind of debilitating and hard to, I had a period of time where I just like couldn't write. I couldn't even listen to music for like 3 or 4 months. Like I was only listening to podcasts. So at first it was like making it impossible to write. Like I had this just complete block. I didn't even want to like sit with that because I was sitting with it all the time. But eventually that kind of cracked, and I've been in like one of the most just exciting, like creative moments in my life where I've just been like coming up with a ton of different song ideas that are really compelling, a lot of just writing, messing around with like different sounds in the studio. Like I'm just really, really excited about the stuff that I've been creating, and there will be an EP coming out later, and singles off that will be dropping pretty soon after the trilogy, which I'm really excited about. But I just, as we were saying before, like before the cameras turned on and everything, I have been writing so much and so many ideas that I'm really excited about, and like little verses and choruses and stuff, that I'm like, I was originally thinking just an EP, but I have so many songs that I love that it's becoming like 12, 13, 14. I'm like, I am unintentionally writing an album.
Yeah.
So that is happening, which is exciting because
Debut.
Yeah, which is, I feel like that's a very fun way for it to come about, for it not to be like this thing that I intended, for it to be like, no, it just is being written, and there's just all the songs, and it's all around like this really cohesive theme, a lot of different genres, a lot of different thematic approaches and angles. And so I'm just really, I feel like it's going to be a really cohesive project, and hopefully really resonates with people who have experienced similar experiences.
I'm sure it will.
Yeah, thank you.
That's going to be really awesome. We can't wait to hear it.
Thank you.
When do you think that might be happening?
Ooh, I'm not sure about the album as a whole, but as far as the EP, there will be singles coming out pretty regularly, but I think like very, very early 2026 will be the full EP drop. So yeah, it's gonna be lots of music this year, which is so much fun, much fun.
That's so awesome. Your music resonates a lot with the queer community, the girls and the gays. Have you had any awesome experiences meeting fans on this tour?
Oh my God, absolutely. Like, it's been so cool to see just queerness reflected back so authentically, and also to like now be an artist that like, this sounds like the classic like to like be the artist I wanted to see, but like when I was I'm only 22, but when I was in high school, literally we had like Troye Sivan, Haley Kiyoko, Tegan and Sarah, and loved them, but like there really wasn't a variety of like out queer people who were making music that was explicitly queer, that was using a pronoun, like I would be writing a song that uses she or mentions a girl, and so you kind of have like a limited choice of options to choose from, and even if you didn't really love the song stylistically, it's like you're gonna put it on the playlist because it is gay and it's one of the only ones. And so that's just been wild to see people who like I would be friends with, absolutely, like if we live in the same city, like listening to my music, singing along to the words.
Super excited to see the show tonight.
Thank you.
Do you have any special little things you're gonna do at the show tonight?
Perhaps. We'll see.
For the Columbus fans?
For the Columbus fans. I'm gonna write a Columbus song on the spot, actually.
Oh, please, improvise.
No, I've literally, I need to learn more about Columbus. I
think we have a pretty huge queer community here.
Really?
Yeah.
That is so cool.
I'm telling you,
that's very cool to hear.
There's gonna be a crowd tonight, I think.
I really hope so. That'd be sick. That'd be really, really cool. We'll see. First time.
So this tour is going really well so far, right?
Yeah.
And will you be going on any other tours coming up in the future?
I will. Something may be happening in the fall to stay tuned for.
Okay.
And I've got a lot of summer performances, mostly in the Pacific Northwest, although there are some like little scattered shows that I'll be traveling for, and still like some festival booking stuff is coming in. So we'll see how all that goes.
Awesome.
But yeah, definitely just gonna be touring more and more and more as this year progresses, which I am so excited for because I do genuinely love it. It's so fun.
It sounds really
I feel like people enjoy the show. So
because they do.
They say so. So they say so when they buy t-shirts.
They're probably not lying.
Yeah.
For the final question, off the record, what makes someone a therapist's wet dream?
I forgot we were doing. Let's just say you're a girly non-gendered, who maybe sleeps in a little too late, stays up watching TikToks for a minute, needs her or their like drink of choice, little drink to get through the moment. Maybe maybe intellectualizes all of the feelings instead of actually feeling them, and then knows how to explain all the issues in therapy, but maybe doesn't know how to actually fix the things, or knows how to fix the things but doesn't actually apply those, and just keeps drinking their little matcha in the morning. Right. That could be a therapist wet dream.
Okay, so probably most of us.
Exactly.
Awesome. Okay, well, for anyone that doesn't already know you, where can people find you?
Ooh, you can find me at Amelia Day Music on Instagram, Twitter, well, maybe not Twitter, Blue Sky, wherever you are getting your media. And then I also have my music out on all streaming platforms under Amelia Day, Amelia. Hopefully you know how to spell day.
And make sure to follow us at BRIGHTMOSS Productions on Instagram. And follow Amelia Day, listen to her upcoming single, Mama, and any upcoming releases happening later this year. Thank you so much for watching. That's all. Bye. Bye.